I'm Jacqueline Molcharik. A match made in heaven. A 15-month-old girl and her life-saving transplant tonight on Global News.
Global News with Jacqueline Molcharik.
Good evening. Operators of Ontario's charity casinos are betting heavy tonight. They're launching a $500 million lawsuit against the province, hoping to recover money they lost after the government tapped into the gambling mother lode. Global's Chris Mavridis is live at the only gambling game in town. Chris?
Jackie, we're in front of the CNE casino now. The ex-officials welcome this, but it's a totally different story for other roving casinos throughout the province. Charity casino operators played their hand today, and the stakes are high. They've launched a $520 million lawsuit against the provincial government. That breaks down to about $10 million for each of the 16 operators. Last March, the Harris government put the brakes on roving casinos, pulling the plug on all of the province's charity Monte Carlos. The government says the lawsuit has no basis and no foundation, but the casino operators say they have a case. Jerry Leviton is betting on it.
We're talking about billions of dollars, not millions of dollars, billions of dollars. That's a lot of money.
Leviton represents Ontario's charity casino operators. He says the Harris government is creating a monopoly.
What the government of Ontario has done, in effect, is rewritten the criminal code, something it can't do. It's not in their jurisdiction. And they've done that by making it virtually impossible for a charity or a religious organization to make a profit when they run a gaming operation. Why? Because the government's in the gambling business, and they want a monopoly, and they don't like the competition, even if it's people in need.
The government originally planned to replace the charity casinos with 44 permanent casinos, then drop that number to just 4, all commercial and privately owned. Casino goers are also siding with the charities. Most are calling the move unfair.
Not fair. The casinos, it's a good thing to have this so that they can have a little extra money for these type of things.
And Jackie, the group says they're waiting to, or they put their cards on the table. They're just waiting to see what the government does next. They're hoping they'll take the government will take the easy route and just do things out of court. But their lawyer says that's highly unlikely, and they're prepared to battle this out in court. Jackie?
All right, thanks for that, Chris. Well, gambling on the stock market is no sure bet, especially today. Losers outnumbered winners as the TSC plunged. At one point, the Toronto Exchange was down more than 500 points, the biggest daily drop in 11 years. It finally rebounded slightly to close down at 372 points. The Dow was down 357 points. It was another dismal day for our dollar as it dipped to another all-time low of 63.31 cents U.S. And after months of inaction, the Bank of Canada finally pulled the trigger and raised its key rate by a full percentage point. That sparked a jump in the prime rate at chartered banks to 7.5%. As Bill Turbovich reports, all this means a boost in mortgage and other consumer loan rates.
The economy, we haven't helped the dollar, and we're hurting the economy. So I would say we have the worst of all possible worlds at this point.
The Bank of Canada has raised interest rates 2.75% since mid-1997 to boost the value of the loonie, but it has fallen 11% against the U.S. dollar since January. This means monthly mortgage payments have climbed $275 per $100,000 borrowed over the last year. So what does this mean to our economy? A good barometer is real estate. Rather than chase buyers away, this rate increase attracts them.
But it fuels it. Quite often people are pre-qualified ahead of time, and it prompts them to get into the marketplace so they can capitalize on the rates that they already secured.
Susan Eckersley agrees, pointing out that people are finally realizing that anything under 8% makes buying a house affordable.
3-year terms is currently at 6.25. It's still a fantastic rate. I've got an amortization book that doesn't go below 7. So I think any interest rate that's under 8 is still comfortable for a lot of people.
Buying a house is part of the economic roller coaster. With the higher mortgage rates come higher finance rates to purchase items such as a Chesterfield or a new stove to go with that new house. Once the consumer has to think twice about buying the big-ticket items, the economy will stall. Bill Turbovich, Global News, Don Mills.
Well, it might have been a stormy day on Bay Street, but the sun was shining brightly just about everywhere else. And here with a first look at weather is Susan Hay. Susan.
And much of the province, Jacqueline, will wake up to a sunny day tomorrow. Very few exceptions.